Do you forget what it's like to be happy? Do you keep hitting one obstacle after the other? Does it feel like you're going through another cycle of suffering? The thing is, we've been in trauma for so long that it's hard for us to recognise good things when they come. When we're sitting in the dark for so long, it's hard to recognise the light. We have to remember we're deserving of good things, and life does not have to mean suffering. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing: when we're in the dark, we're actually afraid of the light. We get so accustomed to the way we've been living, and this is it. This is a trauma response. We've lived a life of suffering. We've lived a life of pain. We've lived a life of abuse and trauma. That's all we've ever known. And we get so accustomed to it that anything outside of that is unfamiliar or dangerous or scary. That's what our ego mind is telling us anyway. So when we do see the light, or when we do see something good, we run from it or we sabotage it because it's an alien concept, effectively. You know what I mean? If it's not going wrong, then it doesn't feel right. And it's a really hard thing to fathom. Like, you know, we're suffering all the time, and we forget or don't see that there's any way out. We believe that life is that way. We believe that life is constantly going to be that way, and that's what I believed. You know, when I was in my unhealed energy, I believed life was about suffering. I was in the mentality of we suffer and we die. That's it. Like, you know, I didn't see there was any other way. And I probably wasn't even labeling suffering. I was just, life is like this. Life is just shit, like, you know, and it was constant. And like, you know, what I've seen with I suppose myself before I broke out of that mentality, or with other people, is you get comfortable in your suffering. You get so accustomed to things going wrong that if something goes right, you're like, what the fuck? Like, for example, what comes to my head is like, so for, you know, if we're going through ascension symptoms, we can go through physical symptoms on our journey, and we can go to the doctor and the doctor will tell us there's nothing wrong. But when we're in the endless cycle of suffering, we're in pain or something's going wrong and the doctor tells us there's nothing wrong, and we're like, we actually feel worse than we would if the doctor had told us there was something wrong. Because we're like going with the hope with confirmation that everything is shit. And then when we get confirmation that everything isn't shit, we're like, yeah, but it has to be shit. Like, life is supposed to be shit. Like, if it's right, it's not right. You get me? And it's like we're literally repelling the light. And the way I see it as well is that we get so used to being in darkness. It's just, it's like, you know, it's like the concept of if you're in a dark room and you wake up and you turn on the light and you're like, oh, Jesus, I can't fucking see. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, literally, that's the way it is when we're living in trauma and darkness in this cloud. We're literally shrouded in this dark veil. It's funny. It's like you're wearing blinkers all the time. It's like, you know, you literally have this tunnel vision of darkness. There's nothing outside of that. And it's like when you start to heal and when you start to grow, the blinkers come off. You start to see that there's more to life. You start to see that light. And the light gets it gets comfortable. And like, this is the analogy I was seeing the other day, and this is actually really true. You know, my sitting room, okay? My sitting room has ceiling lights, but it has 3 wall lights, okay? And I've taken out 2 out of 3 of those bulbs over the last few years because the room was too bright, okay? It needs a dimmer switch, whatever. And lately I've been sitting there and I've been like, Jesus, it's not really that bright anymore. You know, it's getting too dark. And I was like, I was so accustomed to the dark, I didn't recognize that I needed more light. And this is a weird analogy, but this is why I got the download for this video. And I was sitting there, I was about to do my yoga, and I was like, you know what, maybe I put in another bulb. Maybe I put in 2 of the 3, and maybe it would be bright. And I kept saying to myself, it's too bright. It was too bright before. It's going to be too bright now. And I was sitting there, and I was looking around when I put the second bulb in, and I was like, it's not too bright. Why is it not too bright? It was too bright before. Why is it not too bright now? And it just came to me that it was like, literally, I've been sitting in a dark room for so long because I was hiding. I was hiding from the light, and I thought that the extra light was going to be too bright, but it just wasn't ready for it. And like, when we're not ready for good things to happen, we can sabotage. And that's it. it seems too bright. It seems like that bright room when you open your eyes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's restricted. And you know what's funny? Our ego mind, anytime we transition or change or up level, so effectively I feel like I'm up leveling because I'm ready to embrace the light. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit in the darkness anymore. And that's when you get to that stage where you finally just say, it's not even that you finally say it. You don't even register that you're saying it. It's just like, wow, I can, I'm comfortable in the brightness. But I was sitting there and I was like, my ego mind was sitting there going, we have to think of something now to fuck this up. Like, she can't change. She can't evolve. This is what my mind was doing. My own mind was literally going, tell her she doesn't like it. Tell her it's too bright. And it's like, and I looking at the light. I literally sat there looking at how bright the room was for ages going, I do like, the phrase I keep using lately, and I don't like using it, is I don't hate it. If something is new for me and it's so alien and it's like, it's different to what I've known, I'm like, I don't hate it. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, it's okay to admit that you like something that's a little bit different than what you normally liked. And that's like, this is what our ego mind does. Every time we move forward, every time something good happens, it's like, no. Good isn't supposed to happen here. Everything's shit. Like, if it's good, it's bad. This is effectively what our own mind is saying. You know what I mean? We're looking for the worst case scenario. And if we don't get confirmation of the worst case scenario and something is actually going right, we're like, nah. When is this going to end? Oh, why do we always do that? It's like the best day of your life is like, this is going to end later. It's like, you're in the moment now. Later is later, not fucking now. Why do we ruin everything in our lives? Because we're literally, miserable, going waiting for the shit to hit the fan. That's all we do with life. Why are we fucking in this? It's trauma. Sorry, I get so fucking. Why do we allow ourselves? I'm like, this is the simple thing. Our own mind doesn't allow us to evolve and grow. So our own mind doesn't allow us to step out of that darkness. And this is ongoing for me over the last 2 years as I've been awakening. Certain things of living in the darkness, things had to be a certain way. Or, I felt they had to be a certain way. So I was in poverty consciousness. I was in a lack mentality. Everything was basic, effectively. I was saying to myself, I'm not materialistic. I don't need this or I don't need this. And I'd go into the shop, right? And this is a few years back. But I'd go into the shop and I'd be like looking at something and it'd only be 2 or 3 quid and it'd be something I'd want to buy for myself. And I'd be like looking at it going, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. And I used to be like fierce for improvisation. I'd make something. I know that's a good thing, but like I literally, if I didn't have the means to improvise, I wouldn't buy the thing because I'd be in the lack mentality going, no, it's fine. The ego mind would be like, don't evolve. Like, this is effectively, my ego mind wouldn't be saying this, but it's like, don't evolve. Don't buy yourself something that you need. Don't do anything that's good for you. Don't do something to make you happy. That's what your mind is keep saying. And it's simple little things that I've done to upgrade my life over the last 2 years as I've upgraded myself. And every single time, thankfully it doesn't happen anymore. Because I literally, every single time I've tried something new or upgraded something new, I'm like literally going, you don't need this. Go back and suffer the way you did. Do it the hard way. That's effectively what we're doing. Instead of buying things or creating things that would make our lives easier, we're literally struggling. It's just, oh my God. Oh, it's like this cloud that's over us. It's like literally the solution to the problem is right here. But you've got a blinker on, so you can't fucking see it. So like you're going through this turmoil, this fucking heavy energy, this obstacle after obstacle, and you're hitting roadblock after roadblock, and you're suffering. And all you have to do is take off the blinker and go, oh. Because everything in our mind is connected to something. Do you know what I mean? But if we're not aware of our thoughts or aware of our feelings or aware of our life, really, we're not aware of the connections. So the simplest task, we are doing the most backwards fucking way because it's the way of suffering. And if we don't do it the way our fucking ancestors did it, backbreakingly, sufferingly, we're literally not doing it right. When we have the brains and the means to solve the problem, but because of this trauma-induced bubble, we don't allow ourselves to see that solution. We don't. And everything we do try to do to embrace the light, the ego comes back in and goes, no. get back under that fucking blanket, get back into that dark room and hide, because that's where it's comfortable. So we're literally creating more suffering for ourselves because it's comfortable, because it's known. So that light, that energy of abundance, that prosperity, that love, that everything that we've ever wanted, we can't see it. We don't recognize it. And it's blinding us effectively, because we have been in that darkness for so long. Anything new comes in and it's like, oh shit, I can't do this. And your ego will keep bringing you back down to that darkness, down to that pain, down to that torture that we're in. And, ask yourself this question, like, you know what I mean? Are you comfortable in your suffering? I know that's a weird question to ask, because we're never going to really admit it, are we? Because we don't know we're comfortable in our suffering. But is your life endlessly suffering? Is it constantly obstacle after obstacle? Are you too blinded by the darkness, or too accustomed to the darkness, not to see that there's easier ways? And the easiest way to come out of this is to become aware of your thoughts, become aware of what's going on. Because, like, oh my God, I've done this over and over again. Our ego mind will stop us from doing the thing that's good for us. So if we do find something that is light energy, happy energy, for example, for me, doing meditation or yoga, every time I started to do this, and this is only up to a while ago again, my mind would come in and go, no, sit down under the blanket, relax, you don't want to do this today. And I'd know that the meditation or the yoga would actually make me feel better. But yet my ego mind would come back in and go, no, stay here in the darkness, stay where it's quiet, no. And, I don't have that fight anymore, because that's another beautiful thing. Like what I described about making the room brighter. I was literally, usually it's a battle of the fucking minds, and it's like, oh, ego's going to win. Ego's going to tell you to sit under the blanket. Ego's going to tell you to take that bulb out and go back into that dark room. That's the energy I was in. And I was literally sitting there going, my ego is just trying to come back in, and it's like, say these things. And it was like literally trying to figure out ways for me to not like the brightness. And it was just like, you can't fucking win anymore. And that's the way it's gone for me. It's like literally now my soul is winning. So every time I have a new endeavor or a new thing to do, every time a fear comes in or a negative thought, I'm like, no, this is going to be good for me. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm actually, that's the power I've gotten now, going from the negative side winning to the positive side winning. So that's how we get through this. It's literally become aware of your thoughts. Is your own mind creating suffering for you? Is your own mind keeping you stuck in that suffering? Is your own mind preventing you from seeing the light? Preventing you from recognizing the light? Preventing you from feeling deserving of the light? Because that's another thing. It's not just that it's unrecognizable or unknown or unfamiliar. We don't think we're deserving of happiness. We don't think we're deserving of good things, because all we've ever done is suffer. We believe that we deserved that life that we lived in, but we don't. That's an ancestral, it's a generational trauma, it's a generational curse. We're literally taking on the shit from our parents, the shit from our grandparents, and so on and so forth. Literally taking on all that heaviness. And there's no way, we're taking on all of that, but we're here to break it. You know what I mean? And it's not ours. It's just not ours. And all of this shit in our minds is it's a caveman mentality, preventing us from doing anything that's risky. And it's not even fucking risky, it's just different. Do you know what I mean? Turning on that light, seeing that you actually aren't blinded by that light anymore. That's the big step. And that's the big step for me. I didn't even realize it. Is that, metaphorically, well, not metaphorically, literally, I was sitting in the fucking dark, and I didn't realize that I was ready for the light. You know what I mean? Because as I said, I was like, the room's going to be too bright now. It's going to be too fucking bright. It's going to be too bright. And I'm sitting there going, I don't hate it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I like it. I'm trying to change my wording from, like, that happens every time something different comes in. It's like, I don't hate it. I'm like, fuck off. You're allowed to say I like it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you're allowed to say I like something. You're allowed to embrace a new thing. So this is it. Just being aware of what your thoughts are doing, being aware of what your thoughts are saying, being aware of what your thoughts are preventing you from doing or allowing you to do. This is what we need to do. You are ready for the light. You deserve the light. You do not have to fucking suffer. Life does not have to be an obstacle after obstacle. Take off the fucking blinkers. Take them off, because I promise you. And oh my God, like the connections I make in making solutions in my life, they're right there. They're fucking everywhere. But I just have to take off the blinkers. You know, I'm living in that trauma bubble. And it is a trauma bubble, because literally when you're in a trauma bubble, your brain does not fucking work. It does not work. It doesn't work like the way it used to, because you ended up becoming childlike and codependent based on the abuse that you suffered. And, you know, you go into this I don't know. It's, for me, effectively, I went into this brainless state. And it's not even a brainless state. It's hard. No, it's not brainless. It's like your brain isn't working to its full capacity, because you're literally in this comfort blanket, protecting yourself from anything on the outside world. Everything and anything just seems shit. Like it's hard to do. It's hard to get that motivation. It's hard to break out of that bubble. You know, and your ego's there kind of going, no, it's fine. You know, leave the dishes. You don't have to do the dishes. Make the place is grand messy. You know, like when I was living with depression and stuff, the whole place was a mess. You know, the dishes would pile up, and you know, then you'd be depressed about doing the fucking dishes. Now I've changed my mindset around anything, so you know, everything isn't a fucking pain in the hole, if you get me. Like literally, it's not as bad as it seems. And when we start to win over our ego, we start to see that the things that they prevent us from doing, your ego is literally a manifestation of depression in effect, because it like feeds off that negative energy. And because you're depressed, it's like you listen to that voice all the time. And that voice is kind of your comfort. It's like, okay, somebody's got my side here. If I want to be depressed, I'm allowed to be depressed because my ego mind says I'm supposed to be depressed. Whereas like when you start to push through that, when you start to heal, when you start to become aware, your soul mind, your intuitive mind, your truth starts to win over that and starts to push you into the things that you're supposed to do, because it's the stuff that lights you up. So it gets you out of that depression. So it's that awareness of your thoughts, and you don't have to live a miserable existence. Life isn't all about suffering. I promise you that. So embrace that light. You do not have to sit in the darkness anymore. Take off those fucking blinkers. Turn on the light and open your eyes, because you deserve everything that's coming to you. You do not have to live in darkness anymore. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path. Also, I'm hosting a feminine empowerment workshop on Wednesday in 2 days, the 15th of October at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. This is a workshop for women to connect, share and heal together. So if you want information about that, please comment below. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie, where I share a guided meditation every week. The information for that is in the description box.